Yeah, sure. We're kind of live now. Live. Yeah. How's the weather?
There
When
you
did
go.
you guys shoot all year round, right out there?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we slow down in December, January. I mean, it gets
Yeah.
cold for us, but it's not terrible. So
It's not like
yeah,
-20.
no, I took a pretty legit off season this year.
Yeah.
After the Rimfire finale down in Missouri, I pretty much didn't pick up a gun until like February. Was pretty good. We've been
Nice.
renovating a house,
Yeah.
learning about how that works and how to do all that fun stuff, and then yeah, just took a lot of time away and just kind of get back up and running now. So yeah.
Nice. And when does the
How about
season
you,
really
man?
kick off for you? When does it really get going?
Um,
You've already
I would
shot a
say,
couple of matches, right?
yeah, I haven't really been very active, like posting or anything, but yeah, we've shot a Centerfire PRS, two Centerfire PRS matches, and one Hunter match. And today, actually, right after this, I've got a pack, and we're going off to a Hunter match here in BC this weekend. So,
Nice.
yep,
That's a tough life, brother. Yeah,
I
we're
know.
just getting started up here. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, some clubs
starting
have
to
been
warm up
shooting.
now.
Yeah. It was like the last three matches. We started in March, a couple in April, and it's been like rainy and windy. And then finally, 2 weekends ago, the sun came out in the second half, and that was glorious. That was glorious. So hopefully, the rainy match setups are a pain, but
Yeah,
it is what
I
it
mean,
is.
I've seen a lot of videos. Like there was some guys ran some pretty crazy matches out over that way when it was like -20s,
Yeah,
-30s out.
yeah,
It
yeah.
looked terrible.
There's a crew out here that just goes like -20 is the limit. Anything colder than that, and they just stop because things don't
Right.
work as well. -20. The minute you get snow into the action, it just melts and then freezes, and you just can't close the bolt. And it's horrible. I'm a fair weather shooter now. I'm a fair weather MD as well. So
That makes
unless I
sense.
have to, you know. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're at
yeah,
match number 3, and we're rolling. So then it's going to be like a couple of matches every month, and then I hit the road in July, beginning of July, and then it's a match or two every weekend until September. So
damn, dude.
I know.
You're doing the whole
Yeah, I'm trying to
Western
get out as
Oregon.
far as yeah, I'm getting out as far as Chilliwack. We're going to run some maple seeds out there.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, so it'll be
So,
good.
so the president of that club, Jay,
Jay,
he
yeah,
has been, yeah, dude, he's a legend.
he
He's been really, really super excited about everything that's going on right now.
yeah,
So I work with him a lot because I mean that's right here in my backyard, right?
yeah.
And he was like, dude, I got the board on on my side. They're gonna get a whole C can set up. We're gonna have all our props in there. They bought a ton of
Nice.
steel. Like it's pretty awesome.
Nice. He goes out to 200 yards more.
Yeah, I mean the back berm of that range is about 200 yards, and then if you
Okay.
just kind of get up behind that berm a little, I mean it's like 208 is about as
Okay.
far as you go.
Nice. That's all
Yeah,
you need. You can get pretty tricky at 200 because the local range where we set up our monthly matches is about 200 and 210 yards. So
Yeah.
it's enough. You make them small enough. It's and the winds are just super tricky as well. So it catches a lot of people out.
yeah.
So
We don't get a whole lot of wind in Chilliwack. It's pretty protected. It's pretty sheltered,
nice.
kind of by a mountain and the trees. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to a couple of our guys a little while ago, and I remember
Yeah.
the first time we started, really starting to like push the limits of that range. I think it was a 3-inch square at that 208 berm, like I had like a
Yeah.
12-inch down to like a 3-inch or something. I was like, this thing's not going to get hit, man. There's just no chance. And at the end of the day, the thing was like silver. I was like, okay, cool. No, people are
We're
legit.
smacking it. Oops. Hey, looks like we're ready to go. So 1 second. Let me kick off the intro and we'll get back into it. Stand by. Hey, welcome to the Rimfire Nation Podcast, Season 4, Episode 6. We catch up with BCPRL organizer and PRS competitor Josh Botha, who is deep in the middle of renovation joy, renovation hell, the road that every homeowner goes through. What's going to break next and what do I fix? Before we jump into what's new with Josh and BCPRL, let's talk about what's new at our favorite sponsor, Tesro.ca. Let's take a look at his. What is it? It's his newsletter. Every Tuesday, conveniently, he sends us what's new at Tesro. So if you haven't gotten signed up for his newsletter yet, all you got to do is buy something, and automatically he'll send you an email with what's new every week. Vitavori powder is back in stock. He's got 8-pound jugs. Josh, you ever use Vitavori powder?
I actually just ordered my first order of Vitavori the other day, and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm excited.
Nice. Me too. What else you got? Lapua 223 brass 6.5x47, as well as the new Lapua 144 grain 6.5s are coming in. What else? Major restocks coming up. Athlon Ely's coming May and June. CZ, major restock, Mayish. On-shoots. Have you seen those new on-shoots PRS rifles and chassis? There's some pretty sexy. They're cooking up some stuff. They've been trying to get into it for the last couple of years, and I think they finally cracked the code. I don't know if you've seen them in person yet.
Not in person. No, I've just seen the bits and pieces.
It's pretty. Can I use the word sexy? They're pretty sexy. I find them sexy. What else? Hornady 6mm GT. What caliber are you shooting for centerfire?
I shoot a Dasher.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
Hand loading everything, and then hunter matches. Still shooting the trusty old 6.5 Creed.
Nice. Can't beat it. What else? Loophole Alpine Spotter, and also new samplers have been refreshed in the new starter sampler pack. So if you don't know, Tesro sells sampler packs of the commonly available ammo that he stocks. He's got kind of a small, medium, large budget offering. So depending on what kind of snack bracket you want to get into or don't want to get into, choose the right starter sampler pack. If you bought a new rifle and not sure what it likes, it's always good to try it. It doesn't hurt. You could be surprised and find something that's cheaper that works a lot better in your current rifle. So check those out. He's at Cadet conversion kits, always very popular, firing the cheaper 22 versus the 9mm. The VFG cleaning products, basically it's a felt plug that you pull through. Pretty good cleaning. And then I think we talked about Tier 1 bipods. These are pretty slick. He's got carbon and aluminum versions. They're not cheap, but they do work very well, as well as RWS. Not many people know this, but the three big names in small bore ammunition is Ely, Lapua SK, and RWS ammunition. So if you haven't tried any RWS yet, Tesro is the place to go get yours. I know I've got a few folks I've spoken to that have gotten pretty significant improvements just by switching to RWS from their current match ammo. So if you're looking for that next leg up, if you're missing the podium by 1 or 2 points, this could make the difference. If you're missing by 50, 60 points, it might not make that big of a difference, but you never know. As well, Athlon Scopes, there's a new Chronos tactical spotter. I think this one's got a reticle, I believe. Yes, it does. It has a reticle, and it's pretty slick. We haven't gotten our hands on that yet. But again, Tesro is your one-stop shop for all your precision shooting needs. And thank you to Tesro for sponsoring the Rimfire Nation podcast. Josh, buddy, when did we met in Merritt? I think that was the first time. Was that 6 years ago, 7 years ago?
Man, it's been a while now. It's I remember that match. I every now and then get pictures pop up from it and memories. I look back, I'm like, man, if only we knew then what we know now.
I know, right? Those were things were simpler. They're definitely simpler. You just got up and shot. Now there's just
a lot less too, right? I mean, like just the quantity of matches and stuff now. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I mean, there's hot spots all across Canada now for matches. Ontario's got a huge huge league that runs Northern Rimfire Series, and Stitzel Precision runs theirs. And there's several other organizations that are just kind of hosting matches all up and down the 401 and points north. So, and obviously BCPRL, Center Fire and Rimfire. How many matches you guys running this year?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know off the top of my head. The last couple of years, I mean, ever since COVID, that's when we really started putting a lot of effort into the BCPRL. I think we've been running in the neighborhood of about 20 or so each year.
Oh, geez, that's crazy. That's amazing.
And it's just demand, right? You know, what's really cool is what we're seeing in BC right now is also all these other little leagues popping up. People message me and say, "Hey, you know, what do I need to run a match? Right? What do I need to? What kind of club do I need? Insurance, all this stuff." It's really cool to see the interest, right? So, you know, just even in BC, we're getting crazy amounts of Rimfire popping up, and then I mean, a lot of people are asking for Centerfire, right? And they're saying, "Hey, how do I get into this?" And it's just venue specific, right? Which Rimfire doesn't really have that barrier for most people, right? Which is super cool.
Yeah, it's and I don't have to reload, man. I don't have to be scrounging for my brass. I don't have to be cleaning it. I don't have to be punching the primers out. I mean, I miss those days. I just need to, you know, step back. Once all these leagues are established, I can step back and just shoot now. You know, that was the master plan. That was the master plan. Just get involved. You guys have. I see pictures on Facebook and Instagram and all the prep that you guys are doing out there. There's so many matches I want to shoot. It's making me want to relocate, just because of the quality and quantity of matches. I mean, can you shoot every weekend? Is that are you at the point where every weekend in the summer you've got a match? Or sometimes two, right? You've got double headers that you run.
Yeah, we do a lot of double headers. I mean, double headers work really well for a lot of the venues we're at. I'd say if you're willing to travel and you don't mind getting in a car and crossing a border, if you include Washington, I mean, yeah, we could easily shoot every single weekend.
That's awesome.
None of it's close by, so I mean, I'm not sure how it is in the East, right? I think most of us are having to drive on average, 2 to 6, 7 hours to get to really good quality matches. But you could absolutely shoot every weekend if you want to. Right? I think I feel really bad for the guys right in the middle, right? Because they have nothing and they have to travel all over the map.
It's a chore. It's a chore for those guys. I mean, for us in the East, there's you've got New York and Vermont just across the border, so you're like an hour and a half from several matches, and we get guys going down to MKM and or in Pennsylvania. So there's all sorts. If you really want to commit to it, you can shoot every weekend easily. Center Fire and Rimfire. There's no lack of choice to shoot, which is awesome. Yeah,
I think what's also really cool. I mean, since you and I started doing this, what we're seeing now is there's almost like progression of people, right? There's all this huge amount of people that want to get out, just like, hey, I want to try a match, I want to come shoot it, and just want to hang out with their buddies and enjoy it. And then there's this sort of like 20% rate where like, hey, this is really fun, but like, kind of, what else can I do with this, right? And then those guys are looking for like regional finales and national finales, and like, cool, okay, now what, right? And you see this like building, and it's super cool that the competitive level is just getting higher and higher. The amount that people really want to take this is getting higher and higher. It's I mean, the growth is awesome to see.
Well, we've got a full world's team, right, this year going to England
again. Yeah, it's 2 years in a row now, and to be honest, awesome. we were not expecting that.
Yeah, that's good. I think it's great. I mean, all of the what we're trying to do is we're trying to help build that team as best we can by providing opportunities for people to shoot, or people just even try out and discover that they like it, and be that they're good at it, and see they want to get better at it, and giving them the opportunity is awesome. Just watching them take off, which is cool. Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, and again, that Worlds team, when we were looking at it, we had all the applications open, and we knew that there was going to be some really competitive divisions. We know that the open and the production teams are always going to be just like a super high priority spot. But there was just so much support across all the divisions. We had tons of junior shooters apply. We had tons of female shooters apply. We had a full senior team filled out, and we didn't have to go ask anyone. Right? They all applied, which was super cool.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good. Can't wait to see how we do this. It's always nice to see and bring back the stories and lessons learned and how do we get better, and seeing the teams go and compete kind of drives more people to want to get into it. Hey, it's it's not that many steps to get there, right? Really, if you look at it, it's really just the desire and the willingness to practice, put in the effort, grind your way at it, and then obviously raise funds so you can afford to get out there. It's
Right.
not always a cheap trip, but definitely well worth it.
Well,
So,
and that's the other thing that I think some people miss as well, right? Is you can be, the best shooter at your club, right? You can be the guy who wins every single weekend and just kicks butt. But, you travel an hour away or you travel, across the state line or something like that. And it's like, holy crap. Okay, no, I got a lot to learn, right? And you put that on the international level. And there's all these people, we saw in Italy where there's all these people come out and they're like, oh, yeah, no, I got this. Like, I'm the best in Germany or I'm the best in whatever, right? And then they come shoot against, a Matt Steiner or Tyler Orth or any of these amazing shooters. It's just like, dude, it's just another level. And I get to see that. We take quite a lot of new shooters down to Washington. They come shoot a Pro Series match, and it's just like, the light bulb clicks in their brain. They're like, oh my goodness, okay, I just got so much to learn. Which is, it's cool. It's some people I think find it demoralizing, but for most, it's like, okay, I gotta work this out.
Exactly, and that's the goal, is to give those opportunities for folks to see really where they stack up and see kind of, well, how do they do it, and what am I not doing that is preventing me from getting that next level. And it's hard because you plateau. There's if you're the best guy in your club and you win all the time, you're really not learning much because you're being held back by your own success. You need to get beaten regularly to kind of help grow, So
we get humbled a lot up here in the Northwest. There are just some phenomenal shooters, and the last match I was at out here at PRS, up until the second to last stage of the day, one shooter, Nick Godarzi, hadn't missed a single shot.
Crazy.
And it was phenomenal. And there's some different factors that played in, but that dude is just a machine. Just amazing trigger puller, super consistent, never gets flustered. And just wind got him, but still, it kind of shows, the level of skill, most of us are at. Just there's always been better.
Yeah, that's really cool to watch. That's why that's the best part of being able to travel across Canada, is to see all the great shooters that we've got in this country. There's the whole bunch in the prairie regions that those guys know wind. That's all they shoot in is wind. We're fairly, sheltered out in the east and maybe a little bit in the west, that we don't get the 25K, 35K gusty, we just don't see it. But those guys, that's just a regular weekend range day for them, which is amazing.
Yeah, the prairie regions we've got are kind of like the Okies or like the Texas shooters, right? Those guys who do the same thing, right? They they just shoot prairie dogs and tiny, small targets out there at far distances in the wind. That's all they do. It's just like, cool, okay. I guess you're really good at shooting high winds, but I do envy that. I'd love to be able to shoot at a bunch of these different regions and go and hang out with some of these guys at some of their ranges. Like, I've traveled a little bit across Western Canada, but it'd be awesome to almost basically do what you're doing, right? Just do a big country wide road trip and go see it all.
Yeah, you should come out to Saskatoon. There's a nice playground that Rooster set up there, and Kurt Rouse. I don't know if you met Kurt Rouse. It's just a beautiful playground. It's kind of like what you described, just beautiful pasture land, rolling hills, a little bit of trees here and there, and he's got targets out to a kilometer and a bit because he's an ELR shooter. So and then we get to set up 2-day matches at his place, and we get King of 2-2, and then we also had set up a hunter match in the same venue, which is awesome. So
yeah. And honestly, that's half the battle, right? It's just finding the venue, finding the place that you can go shoot these matches and put some steel out and have a whole bunch of your buddies show up and have a good time, right? It's amazingly difficult, and a lot of ranges are accommodating to it. Some of them are just like, hey, moving with guns is not a thing. But some of those private land venues, right, where you've got a rancher or in our case, we've got some landowners. Just having those people that are willing to work with you and say, hey, we trust you, go nuts, within reason.
That's pretty good. Yeah, and so the plans for BCPRL. So when did that start? It's been a few years now that you fired that up, right? BCPRL.
Yeah, 2018, I think is when I started. 2018. We ran a beta test match in 2017, and I ran it with a bunch of offcut steel that we had from our machine shop. I had 1-inch bores put through it so I could hang it off of conveyor belts.
Nice.
And I invited 25 guys out. Not the best shooters because I knew they would just make fun of my match. So I invited a bunch of just buddies basically up to the Nicola Valley Fishing Game Club. And that's kind of where it started, just a center fire match, targets out to 500-600 yards, just a bunch of super janky props, and all the targets had issues. I mean, I just learned the hard way, right? And I don't charge anyone anything, or maybe I charged them like $25 a shooter or something like that. We all camped there on the range, had a giant bonfire.
It's nice.
It's a very cool spot.
Yeah.
And after that beta test match, it's like, okay, we got some stuff we got to figure out, and it just sort of progressed, right? And every time I shot a match in the US and then I really enjoyed something, I was like, oh, cool, okay, let's take that, and how do we bring that home and figure that out, right? So, and then Rimfire was just a natural progression. It's one of those things that people said, hey, it'd be really cool if we did this more with Rimfires, and saw what the NRL 22 was doing, saw what the CRPS was doing, and kind of just grew from there. It's been a journey, man. And to be honest, like I'm not nearly as involved as I once was with it, which is kind of cool. It's sort of a like self-fulfilling prophecy right now, right? It's almost like a machine that's just churning and just doing its own thing.
It's awesome. So now you can just sit back and shoot, or show up and shoot.
I wish I was there. I'm not there yet, but I got some really good help. I got some really, really awesome guys and ladies helping me out. And I just don't have the time to commit to it anymore, which really sucks. But it's cool to see, like, kind of what we're talking about, just the growth in the sport and the amount of people who are just say, hey, how do I do this? How do I help out? Because it's a huge.
And the rate of growth hasn't decreased at all. It's still every new match is like 3, 4, 5 new shooters that show up, and that's every match. They're getting into the questions of, am I using the right gears? Like, I just show up, learn how to shoot a match. You can always upgrade the gear. See, all these guys, they're going to sell all this in the used market soon. So just get to know them. You'll get the hand-me-downs,
You're right.
So, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, no, it is pretty amazing, and I think that's kind of one of the things that gives me like hope for Canadian gun culture, right? Is that there are still so many people wanting to shoot matches. There's so many people wanting to go out there and bring a buddy, and PAL signups are like through the roof right now. I've got friends who are like traditionally fairly left-leaning people, like, hey, I want to come out and shoot guns. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go, right?
Let's go.
And like you're saying, right, you get all these people signing up for matches, and you're like, I have no idea who you are, but come on out, right? Let's go have fun.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. It's amazing. So where are you guys coming from? Where are all these new faces coming from? What walks of life is brought you here? Like a friend of a friend? They were just Googling and just found the website and sent an email and say, I don't know how to shoot. How do I do this? So you're walking through. You get the PAL. You gotta take a maple seed course or introduction to shooting, or we have our Rimfire Competition Academy that helps guys figure out how to shoot a match. We break down the ballistic calculator, which is important, and I tell them, don't worry about anything past 125 or 150. Those aren't for your targets. Those targets aren't for you in your first match if you've never shot those. Yeah, leave those. Just make sure you hit the ones at 50 because your rifle's 0 to 50. And maybe stretch to 100, but just enjoy it and learn, and don't try and beat the clock, because it's not designed to be beaten by first-time competitors.
Well, that kind of, as we were talking about, right, like building that base and building that, like, that shooter level, there is a lot of people, and I mean, I'm sure you get this question a lot too, right? They say, hey, I want to get into this, like, where do I start? And usually it's like, hey, come out, shoot a match, come and give it a go. But there is a definite need for entry-level training, right? And courses and events like Maple Seed and all of this, right? Because I think that's definitely one of the items that's lacking, I would say, coast to coast right now, is that, a lot of us go out and run matches and we have a certain expectation of skill level. But for someone who's like, I'm safe with a gun, I understand how the basics of it work, but I have no idea how to shoot a match, that, like, bridging that gap is super hard. Yeah.
And the good part is that we have a great community. So when you've got the first-time competitor show up, everyone kind of welcomes them, here, try my bag, or try shooting this way, or shoot what we have. We have the stealth category, which is, if you can't get into that position, shoot it safely, or don't worry about the time. Just finish your magazine and just give them a nice easy start, to the competition. And then as you get more comfortable, then you can start testing yourself on, positional and speed if you want to, or just be put more pressure on yourself, I guess. The goal is to have a good time and be safe. Really, that's all we're trying to get through. So,
yeah, I think we're going to see a bit of an evolution there. Like, I know there's a couple like training areas out here, like Silver 4 and BCPRL Academy. They're starting to get more and more like, hey, look at all these competitions, look at all this stuff that's going on that's not pistol or shotgun or like traditional competition sports that they've seen, right? So I think that's definitely an area for growth and support. I've been trying to work. I mean, with any free time I have, I've been trying to work with some of these guys. I'm like, hey, how do we help grow this, right? And I mean, more matches and different leagues and sort of different levels of competition, I think, all good for it. But just the guy who is always a little bit too nervous to come to their first match, or a little bit hesitant to sign up, right, and look like an idiot or ask too many questions or whatever, right? I think that's reaching those people, I think, is going to be kind of the next growth phase, I think, for precision rifle in Canada.
Yeah, I think it's also, so we started this year a paper series. Tesro is sponsoring the Rimfire Precision Paper. So especially the small bore bench rest, right? So you've got, it's 20 minutes to shoot 20 targets for score. So there's zero pressure, and you don't have to change positions. If you don't even have to shoot prone if you don't want to get into prone. There's bench, there's prone, and it's a 50 and 100 yards. So between those four stages, you'll have some fun in there. And 20 minutes is a long time. All the PRS guys finish it in like a minute, They just get down, just bang, 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 bang it out, and they're up, So, but it's fun. As I get older, I'm finding the appeal of a more sedentary, less dynamic, competition format. So, but I don't know if have you seen any of that stuff happening out west? Any like that small bore bench rest stuff?
There's been a couple little leagues. Yeah, most of our clubs run some form or another. Usually something similar, right? Paper matches. Like a slower pace. There is a Mission Rod and Gun up here in BC. They have, I think, a 300-meter bench rest league that they run on paper for center fire. But yeah, they do. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of rimfire leagues. I think that a lot of those leagues are usually kind of a bit of like an old boys club from what we see. And I mean, I think, again, it kind of raises awareness, right? So there's, there's three guys who show up every month, and they pull out their guns and they drop them down, they sit there and click, and they fiddle around, or all that stuff. But the cool thing about that, again, it is kind of driving a little bit of that awareness, right? It's like, hey, this is cool, but wouldn't it be cool if we like shot off a stack of tires or a rooftop or like something else kind of funky? So yeah, I mean, it's cool. And then we're actually starting to see a lot of training nights pop up. And nice. So yeah, it's like people who are like, range is open from X to X. And actually, that guy out here in Chilliwack, Jay, working with the club president, he's been like pushing us, Ryan, Stacy, and I, like, hey, range is yours. When do you want it? Let's start running some training nights. So we're just going to have open range, put a bunch of steel out there, put a bunch of props out there. And again, that, super low pressure, just come hang out. There's no course of fire. There's no nothing. Just do what you want. Be safe. And then, I mean, we can do tips and tricks and training and stuff.
That's awesome. That's key. I think, when people can play or experiment without the pressures of competition. I mean, how much training do you actually get for competition? Most guys just go to a competition. That's their training, unfortunately, right? So there's no structured breakdown, or there's no opportunity, or it just takes guys who are willing to give up their time to host. I know there's a few clubs in Ontario that are doing those rimfire days or rimfire weekends. They'll just, open door. Here's a bunch of props. Here's a simple course of fire. Let's run through it a couple of times and see how we can improve your stability, your speed, or your target acquisition. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's good
for sure. I mean, again, it's not necessarily like a directed training or anything like that, but it gets people
out
something, right? So this actually talking about this reminds me I gotta go connect with the range again and make sure I follow up on that, because I think I'm supposed to create a practice core event and get people aware at least and all that stuff. But
there you go.
I'll get there. Get there when I have time.
Yeah, magically, all that stuff happens, right? No matter how much stuff you need to get done. It's like if you sat down and wrote down everything you did, to support the organization, it's like it's mind-boggling how much time, how much unpaid time you actually spend on your hobby.
It's better to not think about it, right?
I
mean, you talk to a lot of these guys who travel a lot and shoot a lot, and I was talking to one of our shooters down in Washington that day. He figures he shot 20,000 rounds last year. And it's like, dude, yeah, you're just shooting and reloading and shooting. It's just a constant cycle. Yeah. And that's awesome. But then you throw match directing and league directing and stuff in there as well, and organizations as well. It's better to not think about how much time you spend doing this.
God, 20,000 rounds, 20,000 reloaded rounds.
Yeah, center fire.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But he's also this year he says he's chasing for the golden bullet, right? He's going for the PRS championship, and he was second at this national level match by like a point. Actually, no, I think he tied. He was tied and lost the tiebreaker. So it pays off to shoot that much. It's just it's a big commitment.
Well, that's what it takes. The grind is endless. There's always something to work on, and like you're talking about, it's your tenths of a second difference or a win call, like a 0.1 mil away from that point, right?
Right. And you talk about plateaus, right? And most of those guys who are up in that crazy high round count, crazy match count, and everything, right? They're in that plateau now where to get that last 0.01% takes 150% of the effort. It's the mental game, right? Or it's the mental game that gets you. It's amazing. So with a lot of those guys. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say with a lot of those guys right now in the U.S. and the prevalence of suppressors and the suppressor class now in the PRS, a lot of them are realizing how much of an effect the concussion is actually having on them after shooting a 2-day match or 2.5 days. So there's a lot of people actually starting to really, I think, look into the negative health benefits or health detractors, I guess, of also shooting that much, right, and traveling that much and lack of sleep and everything. So
it takes a toll.
It takes a toll. Yeah, it
does take a toll. I mean, you're not eating well, you're not getting your full rest, and the stress level is never ending because you're on that loop, right? And as many as you've done, match day is still match day anxiety, whatever that is for people. Some people have very little, others, keep it all bottled up inside until it snaps.
Yeah.
For me, the nice part about me now is I don't take matches seriously. I'm just there to have fun, try out the stage, have some fun with the squad I'm squatted with, have a few laughs, because I never shoot the same rifle twice. It's always, I'm going to shoot this one now. I'm going to shoot that one now, But,
it can be hard.
Yeah, that's it. So you're shooting actively both center fire and rimfire, right?
Yeah, I would say right now I'm not actively shooting rimfire. I'm very actively shooting center fire, but that needs to change real quick. But I do. I try to. I was actually just talking to my boss about this. I mean, of course, at work, all we do is talk about shooting all day. But it's hard to shoot both, be competitive in both, and still have fun in both. And at some point, I don't know. I gotta draw a line here somewhere.
You can alternate every other year, right? Which is a possibility.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing, right? Last year, I was really heavy on rimfire to make sure I qualified for the Worlds for this year. And this year, I'm pretty heavy on centerfire right now. And then you kind of switch over last minute to go shoot rimfire again and do well at the Worlds. And then, go back to just trying to shoot rimfire. And you can. It's just it loses the fun a little, to be honest, right? All I want to go do is I want to go shoot hunter matches and go and hang out in the woods and go find targets that are hidden somewhere. And I love shooting rimfire matches. They're super fun. It's just a bunch of buddies hanging out, and it's low stress, and you don't have that concussion and everything.
Exactly.
But
it's so
you just
laid
can't
back.
do it all.
Yeah. You're gonna have to choose one day, Josh.
I know.
Because you
I
you have
know.
that life too. You got that house you got to renovate too, right? On top of
Hmm.
all of that, there's that work
Yeah.
life balance and hobby. Is it a hobby? I can't really say it's a hobby. It's more what's after
It's
a
all
hobby.
just work. It's
It's all
all
just yeah,
work.
it's all just work, right? Yeah, yeah. If you're stressed about it, then it sounds like it's work. So
Well, and to be fair, it's weird. Like working in the industry and shooting, there's no line, right? So most
yeah,
people, go to work all day and then they go to shoot because it's fun. But for a lot of times, we're working all day and I'm going to
yeah,
to the range to test something and it's just more work and I have to write a report and I have to record stuff and say, this isn't fun. And that bleeds into my hobby. I'm like, okay, well, I don't listen to a shooting podcast. I don't want to, I don't
yeah,
want to go research ejector springs for my Rimex right now. I don't care about that. I want to go and do something else, right? So
yeah,
yeah, it's as much as don't get me wrong. I love working in the industry. I think it's super fun. I love shooting this
yeah,
much. But yeah, you have to learn to balance it, right? Because it
yeah.
eventually all becomes work.
Yeah, I'm sure the new guys just getting into it who work at NGT and are also shooters kind of they kind of get caught up in that 24/7 life of shooting, and if you
Yeah,
don't get a break, you risk burning out, right? I guess.
well, there's that bell curve. I mean, I'm sure it happens a lot of places, right? A lot of these guys come in and like, oh, this is the best. This is great. I got all these cool projects. I get to build guns, blah blah blah. And then you hit this like pretty distinct mark, and I'm starting to see it with some of our new guys already right now. And they like spike up, and they're there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they leave at like 8:30 at night, and they're just like, oh man, I've got no time. Like everything's due now, and it's just like craziness. And then you kind of hit a point where it's just like, okay, yeah, just manage it, right? Build
Yeah,
that work-life balance.
yeah,
You don't have to go test this right now. Someone
that's
else
right.
will, you can rely on other people. So, and
Yeah,
that's kind of what I've been finding with the BCPRL. I think, most people listen to this or watching this would know Michael Bay as one of our shooters out here in the West. He's been a huge, huge help for the BCPRL. He's
yeah,
done so much of my admin work and lots of legwork. Yeah, he basically runs our social media now. Jumps in,
nice.
answers a bunch of emails, just all that, like, man, just the stuff,
Oh,
right? The all
that's a
that's
huge
all
that's a
that.
huge load. That's a layer. That's a thick layer, a
Yeah.
smothering blanket.
Well,
Sometimes
he
it,
gets on me. He gets
yeah,
on me too, and he's just like, "Hey, dude, like, what are you plan? Like, what are your plans for this match? How are we going to run it? What's the course of fire? What's the budget? All this stuff." I'm like,
nice.
"I don't know, Michael. We'll figure it out."
That's not good enough. That's not good enough
No.
anymore. You could wing it back in the old days. Now
Hmm.
that people are trying to ask me in November, what's the schedule like next year, dude? We haven't even finished wrapping up this year. Talk to me like March, February, which is
I
terrible.
know.
You know, we're supposed
I
to.
know.
Again, it's hard. It's hard. That's the worst part is not getting ready earlier in the season, but I need a break. I got this other thing called the job that I got to get back to after taking the summer off. So, but
Yeah,
it's all good. It's all good. It somehow magically comes together, and now the
I get
hard work
it.
is done.
Yeah, it takes a team, takes an army, right? I mean, everything all kind of just falls into place where it does, right? I mean, it's either it's going to work or it's not. And I mean, we are seeing that now. There's been a couple matches, and even BC Bureau, we've seen this too, right? Where people vote with their wallets and they vote with
Yeah,
attendance, right? And it's like, hey, we don't this match versus this match. I'm going to go shoot this one because it's I don't know, is cheaper or is closer to me or has a better
yeah,
price table or course of fire, whatever, right?
yeah,
And there is a point where sometimes you just oversaturate, and it's like
yeah.
it's not gonna exist forever.
No, no, we haven't gotten there yet. Because
Yep.
there's,
We
there's we don't have the luxury of year-round shooting. So when the first good weather starts to hit, people start coming out and saying, "Let's go, let's do this, step on the gas," which is awesome.
well, and you guys have the population too, right? I mean, there's so many people there that if a tiny percentage more wants to shoot, it's every
Yeah,
match is sold out.
yeah, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. It's a good problem to have. But it's again,
Yeah.
I'm still surprised by how many people still come out, brand new faces that are getting into it, which is awesome. And I feel bad for them because the sport's been growing for the last 7 years, right? So they're jumping on this moving trend, and they feel like they're outclassed by all the people there. So look, man, it's like any sport when you're just jumping in brand new. Everything's going to be overwhelming. You're going to think people have so much more than you, but everyone shooting now started where you are, which is with your Savage Mark II or your Tika T1X or CZ 457. You don't need the Rim X or the Voodoo or the Deuce 2.0. It's shoot what you got, have a good time, and that's the important thing. If unless you've got unlimited budget, then buy 2 or 3 of everything, and just
Right.
shoot that gear. Becomes an arms race, and there's different kinds of shooters.
Do you get the question of what class should I sign up for a lot? Because I get that question fairly often.
No, usually people say, I've got this, is this going to be okay? Or a lot of guys are trying to find a way to get into the lower class. They don't want to be an open, which is like the hyper competitive. It's like, they're all the same. Just, don't pass up on great gear because you think it's going to put you into the open division. Like, no matter what, you're not going to win anyway. So just come out and have a good time.
And that's why I try to tell people too. I get this question like fairly often, and you don't want to sound mean, right? Because it's just like, it doesn't matter, right? Just sign up. It doesn't. Yeah. You can sign up as an international and mil LEO lady for all I care.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
It.
Just come out and shoot, right? Like whatever class, I'm just going to put you in a class anyway. Who cares?
Just have a good time.
Right. And I had this conversation with a new shooter the other day who wanted to sign up for one of our matches. And he said, I've been shooting for like 25 years or something like that. And I've got my 308 and I want to come out and shoot a match. I'm like, awesome. That's great. And he's like, like I've got a way of getting my data and I've got my scope zeroed. I'm like, perfect. That's all you need. He's like, what else do I need? I'm like, the support bag would be handy, but if you don't have it, I'll bring you stuff. Like just come, like literally just show up. Right.
Yeah.
And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Like the only time I'll tell people I'll give you a loaner, right? If they come in with a red dot sight and, they haven't shot that in a long time or they're not sure. So tell you what, we've got ammo donated by sponsors. We've got gear donated by sponsors. Why don't you come out? We'll set you up and you'll discover whether you like it or not, and then they make the mistake of trying out the Rim X with the, Razor Gen 3 on it. They go, oh man, this is so nice. Yeah. And then they go back to what they have. And, oh man, this sucks. But that's like driving a Ferrari versus a Toyota Camry. They both do the job, but one has a different flavor, and maybe you shouldn't test drive it. But it's nice, Someone give me the keys to a Ferrari for an afternoon, I'll take advantage of it, right?
Right. Well, you're saying no.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the good part too. So.
That is one of the cool things about the Canadian industry, and it's unlike a lot of. I mean, I think that you see this maybe in the UK a little bit. You see it in a couple of European countries, but just the generosity of sponsors here is phenomenal. It's crazy. We just have like so many good companies who support the industry, B support matches, and just see the value in why we're trying to grow this. I think we're seeing a lot of local companies now realizing the effects this has on their own business, right? And just seeing the one-to-one correlations. Like, hey, people go out and shoot matches. They use components. They want to buy new stuff. If I offer it, it's super cool.
Yeah, and they remember using that bag or that mag holder or that rifle or that optic or, it pays dividends. Especially optics. People want to try out before they buy, and they'll be able to back to back. Vortex has been great sponsors of ours since the beginning. Providing gear for our loaner rifles. Obviously, IBI and MDT, big sponsors, also providing gear to put in the hands of new shooters, and it's smart, right? It's like, oh, I know this. This feels familiar to me. I like it,
right.
So IBI is out there as well.
Yeah, we don't have a big industry in Canada, right? But we have big enough that it supports, right? And I mean, sure, there has to be a lot of gear coming in from the US, and we do import stuff, but there's we got local stores and we've got Canadian suppliers and stuff like that. And it's it never ceases to amaze me, just the Canadian gun business. It's not big, but it's very very supportive of the match scene, and I mean, obviously wants to see it grow.
Yeah. And I think it's working. There's, we see it all the time. Our sponsors coming and saying, your participants are great. We receive a lot of thank yous from them, so we know it's working. And I see names popping up in the forums defending. I got this and I love it, and I'm not buying anything else. It's they were there from the beginning, and they'll be with me till the end. I mean, some of our sponsors have from cradle to grave type budgets. You can start off rather inexpensive with a simple something and then end up to a more complex thing down the road, so that's what's nice. I mean, it's I'm appreciative of the sponsors that help the community grow and be there to support them as they go on this journey, kind of take away some of the mystery of, well, what if I how do I choose the right one? Try it out, see which one you like. Your taste might change next year, but at least now you have an opinion, and that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, okay. That's another one of those things that match directors don't ever talk about, is the amount of time and effort and phone calls and emails and things that goes into, hey, can I have some free stuff, please? And working with sponsors, man, it's that's one of the things. Like, I'm actually really fortunate right now when we're running our Centerfire matches. I'm working with Ryan McLean, and he's taking a lot of that load off of me because it's kind of what he does in like a day job. Yeah. And it's such a taxing effort, I find sometimes, just constantly having to reach out and be like, hey, I've got these 6 different events. Can you please help me?
Yeah. It is hard. It is hard. I mean, think about this. There's 3 jobs you do, right? There's organizing the event, the venue. Then you've got the community of shooters, and then you've got the sponsors, right? And then you've got setup. So there's four things you gotta do, and then social media obviously is part of making it all successful. And that's man, you're so lucky to have. You have a lot of people to help you out, which is super. That makes a big difference. For me, setup and teardown is the best part, when everyone kind of jumps in. It would take you hours what gets done in minutes with 40 people just walking out into the field and bringing back something.
Yeah.
You lose one or two things every year, though.
You do, yeah. Stuff goes missing, man. It's crazy. No matter, we have lists of stuff that we like. We take this out, this comes back. We have this goes out, this comes back, and you always lose stuff. We actually just we realized that there at Negative Valley Fish and Game a couple of years ago, we found a target that we had just completely forgotten about, and that wasn't the first time we had done that. We found a 6-inch popper that we had just left, and it was still just sitting there. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess we had a popper out there this whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I get steel sprinkled all across Canada. I'm sure there's a hanger. T-posts we usually find, but hangers and targets are casualties of this MD life that we live. You got a enclosed trailer yet for all your gear? Or are you still rocking the pickup truck?
We do everything out of pretty much 2 pickups, and this is the cool thing with Rimfire, right? Is just the match setup and takedown is so much more straightforward, right? Yeah. Props are always going to be big; they're always going to be kind of what they are. But when you get your hangers, your targets, all of your stuff fits in like milk crates, right? Yeah. It's awesome. It's just so much nicer and smaller,
and closer.
Exactly, right. And when we do those back-to-back weekends, you've got all your nice little Rimfire stuff, and you've got these massive, big, like 30-inch wide coyotes and tons of big T-posts and stuff like that. This sucks. And you could take a quad up the hill to go set it up and everything. It definitely is a lot more work, and that's one of the nice things with Rimfire. And there's a lot of these target manufacturers as well that offer like Rimfire packages, right? And they say, hey, you want to run a match? Here's 30 targets. You're going to need all of these, and you need these hangers, and you're good. You're done, right? And it's it really makes it way more approachable than Centerfire in many cases.
Yeah, and I'm getting more inquiries about people who want to run their own matches, which is awesome. It's always common. What target sizes? What's the assortment I should have? So it depends on the prop and the distance, but right now we used to go past 300, but now we kind of pulled back a little bit, because after 300, most guys, it's just luck at that point, because either it's bad wind calls or whatever. It's just it's just more challenging, for people. Or you can't dial up to 400 anymore. I mean, we'll still put one out there just for shits and giggles, but usually we try and keep it. 275, 300 is the last one, but maybe a 350, but usually everything's 225 and closer, 250 maybe. So not a lot.
I personally love putting those long targets out there. It's always hard getting like a target big enough that like actually makes sense at those distances. But I think it's always really fun just to like to show people, right? To show like, hey, like you can shoot this far, right? You know how to shoot to 250. You know, it's the same dial up, make a wind call, right? And you put a big enough target, and like seeing people say to get super excited, just like jump off of their gun, like, oh my gosh, I just hit a target that's 300 yards with a rimfire, right? Like it breaks people's brains, right? And then after the match, inevitably we've always got guys who are like, hey, I want to shoot this thing like 500 yards. I'm like, yeah, sure, go nuts, right? Like,
go for it.
It is, yeah. And I mean, that must be one of the really cool things with like the king of 0.22 miles, right? Like just seeing people like pushing those boundaries further and further and further, right?
Yeah, I mean, so we have 4 different stages. One's a pop can stage that goes out to 310 meters. We've got a 1/3 IPSC that goes to 400, and then 12-inch square that goes to 500, and then the full size steel that goes to 700. And guys are smacking that pop can at 270. 270
That's
meters.
ridiculous.
It's like a pop can, or a 12-inch square at 500. They'll put 3 rounds on it because you only have a maximum 10 shots per target, right? So it's not you're spraying a box, but it's unbelievable what people can do nowadays. So no way anyone's ever going to hit that. So let's pull it back in. It's like, nope. There's one guy or 2 guys that are hitting out there. So okay, I guess we're doing okay. This is the right size. But again,
and that's super cool, right? Just seeing those boundaries be pushed and seeing people just do something that years ago no one would have thought about it, right? I remember coming from like a hunting background. I had a buddy saying that he was out shooting at 300 yards with his 22, and he was holding over 15 feet and aiming at this point on the tree, and got a little bit closer, right? And that was just the norm, right? And you talk to most people who come to a match now, and like you say, right, guys have got all those crazy tricked out race guns. And most people have shot past 300, 400 yards, right? It's not, and like semi-precisely. I really think just the ammo is not set up for that, right? We haven't got to that level of ammo, but will we ever with a 22 long rifle? I don't think so. And
I don't think we need to.
No.
There's no point. Then it becomes center fire.
Right.
then we're walking just as far.
Right. And then you're getting into reloading, or
getting into reloading.
This is stupid.
Copper turned bullets. It's like, I don't think so. We don't need to go that far. We're plenty good. I mean, back in the day, 100 was a far shot. You used to brag about 100-yard shots. Now it's a chip shot for most people. We're grouping at 100. We're getting well. Actually, 2-3 weeks ago, we ran a paper match, and guys were dime-sized groups of 100.
Insane.
It's insane. Like the capability, the rifles and ammo these days, and the chassis, that makes a big difference in stability. You get a 22-pound rifle, it's gonna just hammer all day long.
Well, that was always one of the funny things about rimfire, right? Is everyone's like, okay, cool, I've got my big like centerfire gun, it's loaded, it's got all the big scope and everything like that, and I got my rimfire trainer. But now it's like some guys just don't even have centerfire guns. So like, screw it, I've got a $10,000 rimfire gun. Like, you see guys, zero comps on top of voodoos or like tricked out,
or tangent betas, and large scopes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, in a good way. Like I love the excess of it all, right? It's super fun. But
like, you do a double take. Is that tangent beta? I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, we were doing some testing with our the ACC Premier Gen 2 for the Ruger 1022.
Yeah,
and which I think we've talked about. But yeah, no, we had a SHOT Show. We released that, I think. I don't know. I've lost track. Anyway, we sent it down to some shooters in Utah, and they were doing a bunch of testing for us. They were getting some data. We got this pretty novel design where we actually pull the action backwards in the bedding on the rear buffer pin.
Okay.
And they were doing a whole bunch of stuff, and we got a bunch of pictures back, and everyone kind of like skimmed through them, like, oh yeah, cool. And I stopped. I was like, hold on, this is like a kid action. Like, yeah, it looks really nice. But this dude's running like a zero compromise, like 5 to 40 on this thing, right? Like this is or an 8 to 40. This is a ridiculous setup. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, no, that is kind of ridiculous." I'm like, I know. it's wild. Cool. Yep.
People just out there having fun, man.
Yeah. And hey, I mean, if you've got the beans and you really enjoy it, and this is your hobby, this is your sport, hey, all the power to you.
Like the first match we ever did, April 2018, like first official. We still have the practice score. You can actually look up the practice score results. And the winner in production was a Savage Mark II in a synthetic stock. And then in open was a 1022 in a Magpul Hunter stock. Those were the two. That was the gamer. Those were the gamer guns. It was wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Then you see all of them, like the Marlin XT22s and the Marlin 795s. Everybody just everything that you see in the back of the safe nowadays was at the forefront of everyone's gear back in the day.
Yeah, I mean the progression as well, right? Like we see it in Centerfire, we see it in Rimfire too, right? The progression of how far people have come in the last, 7, 8, 10 years. I mean, the PRS started 2012, and like you guys were still shooting 308 Remingtons, right? Like that was that long ago at all.
I know.
Right? And now
that's
you've
crazy.
got these massive, big, multi-million-dollar companies making all kinds of cool stuff, giant OEM support. Just it's a big industry now.
It's a big industry. Rimfire is a big industry. I wonder what percentage of MDT sales are Rimfire versus Centerfire. Do you guys keep track of that?
It's kind of hard, right? Because I mean, a lot of our products can work for multiples, especially with 700 clones.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say, like the CZ457 is one of our most popular inlets, though. We do sell a lot of CZ457 chassis, and I mean, it's a great receiver.
It's regularly 50% of the match are CZ457s, like 40 to 60%. That variations, it's always around there, and they did no advertising, right? No advertising. There's some guy likes it, shot well with it, and then the aftermarket support happened, and then boom, it's gone. Now, I don't know why versus the Tika T1X, because it's also a good rifle, but didn't have that same hockey stick effect in terms of popularity. Accuracy.
I think Anshoots is saying this as well now, right? And that's why they're looking at it like, hey, hold on, hey, there's a market here, right? And I know, like talking to them for the Worlds this year, they're really going to make a big push, and they really want to make sure that they're around and
they're representing
all tons of staff. I think they are seeing the production class just closing in, more and more and more, and it's like, okay, hey, what do we do to really capitalize on that? Because, and that's really, what production class, in my opinion, or factory class or whatever, should be, right? Is these big OEMs? How do you get their support into the sport? Get them, making dedicated products. Get them, really helping provide that same level of chassis or stock or barrel or full rifle setup to this broader market, right? Because
out of the box.
All of us, exactly, right. And all of us shoot competition. We're in the weeds and we love it, and we'll go research all this stuff. But average guy walking to a gun store is going to see that and be like, wow, that's super cool. What does that do, right?
Yeah. Like Victrix, buy Victrix, you're done. Up here we can't get full, turnkey. Competition rifles are hard to find up here, really, unless you're going to a builder like Desert Precision or Accuracy Developments or somebody like that offer EM Precision, that offers full builds. But still, it's not like one throat to choke where that vendor is responsible, soup to nuts, about everything fitting. Magazine fit was always the big problem, right? How do you guarantee that everything's going to work flawlessly, which is the biggest problem in Rimfire custom? Does it feed? Does it extract? If it extracts, maybe it's an action maker. But that's always been the challenge. And I think Anshoots might be jumping at the right time, because before, nothing had really solidified in terms of who the big players were. People were still trying to figure out what they want. And now you've got that stratification of CZ457 and below, and then you've got everything above that, which is Rimex, Ultimatum, Precision, and Anshoots, and I don't know who else is going to jump in the game, but some 800-pound gorilla is going to say, hey, there's a market here, maybe.
Well, with everything that's going with Voodoo right now, I mean, that's a pretty big hole in the market, man. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I think Deuce 2.0 is coming at the right time. There wasn't a better time, So
I mean, they've been in the works on that thing for for sure. No, I mean, Ryan and Alex and those guys are usually out at the range
Okay.
locally, and I get to spend quite a lot of time picking their brains a little bit. And
Nice.
yeah, IBI and Ultimatum are 5 minutes away from us, so we spend a good amount of time asking questions and collaborating where possible. And
Nice.
yeah, I mean they've been in the works on that for quite a long time. That HMB is a really cool action as well. I think Ultimatum's really doing some neat things right now. I think they've learned a lot of lessons, and they're building on it, right, which is always good to see.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it in the wild in the hands of. That's a real test, and once it starts getting into everybody's hands and all the possible things that people are going to do to it, all the different chassis they're going to put, all the different mags they're going to try and feeding, all the different ammo they're going to try out. So it'll be cool. Yeah, we're supposed to get ours sometime in May. May, June maybe, end of May probably. Hopefully it's there in time for the road trip. Put on the demo table and get some not foreign hands. Get some public opinion on it versus the Gen 1 or the Gen 0.5 or whatever it is. So that's good.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, speaking of someone who never really shoots the same gun twice, that's Ryan, right? He's constantly tinkering with something or another, right? It's a different barrel twist, or it's a different barrel length, or it's a new chamber, or it's this new part on his action, this new trigger mechanism. Yeah, I mean, that guy is constantly screwing around with something or another, right? And I mean, it's part of it, right? It has to be tested, it has to be verified, it has to be shot. And I know a lot of those test mule guns, they have a couple tens of thousands of rounds in them now, so they've been properly validated. But you're right, you get them out there in the wild, and some guys like, oh hey, how come this weird obscure combo doesn't work?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you do this?
yeah, that's not supposed to happen, and yet there you are. Yeah, well, he is in charge of building the better mousetrap, so that's his job, is the tinker, head tinker or chief.
I was over there a little while ago, and I'm pretty sure he has a business card, or a stack of them at least. This is Director of Directions, and that one always stuck with me. I love that. That's so funny to me.
Though. It's so true. Good. They couldn't have found a better person for that role. I mean, you're brand new products. Need the guy to say, what if? It's the what if mentality, which is awesome. It's kind of like MDT, right? Maybe to a lesser extent these days, because you guys are just hammering every direction you launch on. You just keep going full speed, all guns blazing. Literally, it's an amazing story from early back in the day. Because I've still got the old MDT butt pads for the ARs. That was my exposure to MDT. The slidey uppy butt pads for the ARs on the stock.
Magpulls.
Yeah, all of those things. It's like, come a long way, man.
It's been crazy. Yeah, it's no slowing down. I'll tell you that.
I don't see any signs of it. I mean, there's so many more businesses you guys can acquire.
I mean, that's got to slow down. That has to relax at some point.
I'm waiting for the ammunition division to get announced.
It's a consumable. It is a very high risk, high reward industry, though, right? That one, if you're going to jump into that, you got to really do that one right. I mean, we've been working on triggers for the last couple of years. That's another really high risk, high reward industry as well, and it's a fire control component, which is always a scary thing. But,
the liability. The liabilities jumped up, 10,000 percentage points, right?
Exactly. I mean, we've had muzzle devices, we've had brakes for the last couple of years, we've had a couple, baffle strikes and guys launching the wrong caliber and goes down range and stuff like that. But a trigger is, if you have a faulty trigger, that's huge, right? That killed Remington, that killed a couple brands, right? So you got to be careful.
Yep. Well, I know you guys are fairly cautious. You know what's at stake.
Yep. Yeah, it's lots of cool stuff in the works, man. Carbon fiber, it's insane. It's actually super funny to watch the industry just be cycling, right? And also competition drives a lot of this, where the need for lightweight stuff right now is fairly high, right? There's a lot of people saying, hey, this is really cool, but how do I make it half the weight, right? And I think NRL Hunter has driven that, and like Rimfire Hunter matches are forcing people to say this is really cool, but it weighs. I want the 6-ounce version of this thing, right?
Yeah.
Carbon, magnesium, ultralight, titanium stuff is huge. There's a lot of people on the hunting aspect, and then also just the competition aspect asking for that. There's some cool developments coming, I think.
Nice. Well, SHOT Show 2026 is coming.
Don't remind me. Yeah,
because you guys have to be planning out. You guys have to be locked down in the next few months, don't you? For it to show up at SHOT 2026.
Oh yeah, no, that's already done. I think the house is booked and everything. Like the travel's already set. Like that's a given. But what we're gonna have there and how much of that we're gonna have there is always interesting. It's a bit of a I think last year was our best year ever on forward planning and forward thinking. Nice. And we had requested prototypes in November. Okay. So it's already pretty late. This year we're gonna try and get even further ahead of that. So we'll see.
Never ending, eh? Plus, it's more. It's more. It's always more. It's never less.
No.
It's more, faster.
It's more, it's faster. I mean, we did just kill like 4 chassis lines, right? We kind of combined them all into the newer LSS Gen 3 chassis, which is, it's super cool and it does accomplish a bunch of the, what the previous chassis did. But I think that's the first time we've like en masse, like just ended a bunch of chassis lines. So, nice. Definitely a bit of a transitionary period. Just making sure that we don't oversaturate people as well, right? Because you see people and you send out a release email like every single week, and eventually like I don't care, right? It is what it is. So making sure we don't overload people and they tune out as well.
Yeah, well, the MDT is known for 2 things: SHOT Show releases and Black Friday sales, right? That's the 2 big. That's the 2 big dates everyone kind of has on their calendar marked. And I don't know how the IT guys are able to stay sane with the amount of pressure they get on the Black Friday days. I mean, it's worse than Christmas.
It's a problem. The problem is that all of our, I don't know that much about it, so I've talk with a bit of a, take everything with a grain of salt, but we take down servers and then we take down other people's servers because it's so much traffic in so little time, right? So, these hosting companies are expecting Black Friday to be a big spike for everybody, which, they do, but we just constantly underestimate how many people are going to click on stuff and hit that refresh button. Right?
Yeah. Well, because it's international sales, right? That's the thing is that everyone around the world is hitting it. Whereas, if it's Black Friday for Target or Walmart, it's maybe North America,
right.
But you guys are a niche player known for having the best prices on Black Friday for a very specialized, commodity.
Yeah. And we try to always have good sales and, even our factory second stuff is pretty much factory new. We're constantly generating factory seconds, I'll tell you that, just through testing or assembly issues or something or another. Like this year we'll have some products that will be getting phased out and those will go up for pretty good deals, right? So nice. Hopefully those the Black Friday date, which people have circled, is going to be rewarding, and I think people are going to be excited about it. And then SHOT Show 2026. I don't even know everything that's going to be there just yet, but I know that we got some really cool stuff I've already been starting to play with, and it's like, man, this is going to be cool.
You're a lucky guy. You're a lucky guy, man.
Yeah. It comes at a price, but it is fun.
It's not a bad price. There are worse things to be doing with your life, right? There's less pressure, but there's less reward also, I guess. There's that balancing act. So
if I was,
we're all benefiting from your efforts.
I was talking with Yannick from Quebec earlier.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, "Keep up the good work, man." I was like, "No, don't tell me what to do. I'm gonna do whatever I want." Well, he was asking actually about that ultralight bipod that we showed at SHOT Show, the 5-6 ounce bipod, and they still don't exist yet. They do exist, but they're not ready for everybody yet. So
not ready yet.
Those things are being frustrating, but they'll be available soon.
Nice. That'll be wild. As long as the stability's there, the rigidity. for the support.
It's a 6-ounce bipod. You can only,
I know,
you can only be so stable.
I know. But they want to put their 22-pound rifle on it, right? And have all the benefits. So it becomes a 22.6 ounce rifle.
Yep.
Can't be the Skypod, man. The Skypod's the cat's ass. Still to this day, still there's nothing better out there. You go double pull, triple pull. I was watching somebody with a triple pull gaming a stage on the couple of weeks last weekend.
Yeah.
It's stage prop abuse. Those triple pulls, man. They should be outlawed. But it's so much fun to watch them.
It's like when you tell people you shoot rimfires at 300 yards. You say, "Hey, we have $1,000 bipod." People are like, "Why? Like, what are you doing? I could buy 19 Harris's used from a bin for that price, right?" And it can be a hard sell sometimes until you show someone like, "Hey, like this is what it does." I'm pretty sure I saw Jess Tischler, right? She was shooting off that like reverse rooftop.
Yeah, reverse rooftop with the triple pull. Yeah. She was standing on the back. It works. That's what it's for. It makes those shots possible, right? There's that one weird set of conditions that is designed for. Yeah. And you see,
and then that $1,000 price tag, you forget about. You're like, cool, I got my hits, I'm good.
That's it. That's the best part. That's the best part is well, you are in the Gamer Hall of Fame. You and a couple of other people. There's like 4 or 5 names there that just whenever they're going to shoot a stage that looks somewhat challenging. Let's go watch. This should be interesting.
I've really as much as I like my Hall of Fame status, I've got away from overthinking stages because it always bites me at this point. And I think that's one thing that I as a match director love doing is like, how would I game the stage? Oh, this is how I would do it. I know someone's going to do something really stupid here, right? Yeah. One bag and a bipod.
That's it. That's wild. That's the best part. This is watching the never-ending creativity of shooters. It's like, what? Oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Still, after 6-7 years.
I love that. When you look at someone shoot something, like, oh man, that's smart. I didn't think about that. I love it. I love it when that happens. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's awesome, buddy. Hey, we're at an hour and 12.
Oh, I lost you.
Oh, you made plans to do something on Saturday? Yeah, that was like our first plan. What did you guys do?
It's just me now, I guess.
Oh. Okay. He's trying to get up from shooting.
Well, I don't know if anyone else is here, but I am definitely still here. I think last time this happened, Rick had like a power outage. Let's see, can I see the comments? Oh yeah, it's just me. Cool. I'm on a podcast by myself.
Did you have your first gift on Saturday? You did? Yeah, she asked him. What did you do?
Well, I mean, while we wait for Rick to come back, let's do some shameless plugs. Check out the BCPRL on Facebook. Hey, there we go. We got Rick. There you are.
Buddy. Still there?
Yeah, did you run out of battery?
I don't know what happened, but I'm on my phone right now because my laptop is just totally dead for some reason.
I think last time we did this podcast, something almost identical happened.
Yeah. Same thing happened again.
Yep, I think you had a power outage last time.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like my laptop's dead for some reason. I tried booting it up, but anyway, as I was saying, we were about an hour in, so I wanted to see if there's anything else you want to add. And I do appreciate you coming on, sharing your life experiences.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I know it's getting a little bit late there as well. I got to go grab some dinner and pack for getting to an NRL Hunter match. But yeah, I mean, always fun to talk to you, man. Always good to talk about the MD life and all the fun and games that go into running these things and leagues. Yeah, people are in BC. If you want to come check out matches, get hold of us on Instagram or Facebook, or via email as well, bcprecisionrifle@gmail.com. We have tons of matches, maybe not near you because most of our matches are in the Southwest, but if you're willing to travel, we got a ton of matches to shoot.
And they're awesome looking matches, man. I'm so jealous.
And they're just getting cooler. We've got
I know.
some really, really fun ones. I think this weekend we're going to post a bunch of stuff from the Hunter match in Cranbrook, and that is just one of my favorite
Nice.
matches of all time. It's so cool. So, yeah, check out MDT. If you don't know about us, go check us out. Hopefully, if you're watching this, you do know about us. And yeah, hopefully I'll get to see you this summer. You're coming through in July. I should be
Yeah,
I
late
should be
July,
out and about.
August. Yep. I'll be in Chilliwack middle of August.
I'll be in Europe at that point, unfortunately. But
That's too bad.
I'll see. Hopefully we'll get some time to catch up.
Okay, we'll do, buddy.
Awesome.
All right, thanks for coming on. All right, everybody. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the firing line. Take it easy.
Yep.
Thanks again, Josh. Have a good one, buddy.
Yep. Thanks for having us. Bye.